Oh, so she brought you in her movie.
Yeah. Yeah, she put me on. She put me on in her movie.
Okay.
And that movie, I crashed and burned. You know what I mean? Like, because I showed up. The photographer. Shout out to Shawn Michaels. If you're another fan, if you're a fan,
I know Shawn Michaels. I heard that name.
Yeah. Shawn's an OG. Shawn was in the. It was me and him. We were both going to be tagging her, and
that was your first scene.
That was my first scene.
A double team.
But the crazy thing was that it was me, Shawn, and two other performers, and when they all got to the set, everybody was like, "Yo, let's go sit in the car and smoke some weed." And I had never smoked weed like that before, so I went and sat in the car with them smoking weed. So I was just geeking out on what was happening.
Right.
You know, I was in the car with Shawn, who's a legend. This guy Peter North, he's a legend. This guy Mark Wallace, these guys have been around since the 80s.
Right.
And I'm in the car with them smoking a joint. I'm like, cool. And then when it came time to do the scene, it was photographs first. So we were just posing. We were fucking, but it wasn't like the camera was on. It was just photos. So I did that with no problem. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? And then it came time to do the film. And I'd already, busted my load.
Right.
You know, and I was like, I'm young, 23. I was like, oh, yeah, it'll get hard again. When it came time to get my nerves, everything kind of locked up. Body.
That's
you know what I mean?
Imagine. I don't think I can perform.
So is performing on camera? How many people are on the set? Is it like 10 people, 20 people?
I mean, it depends. You got amateur and pro amateur, and you got pro.
Okay.
The way they shoot now, I think they shoot everything to a stopwatch. So you only need this amount of time, and it's much more structured.
Okay.
In my era, when we were shooting, we would kind of shoot how you felt.
Okay.
You know what I mean? You're feeling frisky, you're feeling good, you're feeling comfortable, then let's shoot. And that usually doesn't require much. You need a director, you need a makeup artist, you need maybe your sound, your lighting guy can be the same person. The director could probably do everything. Nowadays, because everything, the phone, you can dial everything in. Your camera's pretty,
Right.
You can underlight it and bump it up later. You can fix your audio. But the way I was shooting, it'd be as minimum as 2 to 3 people to up to 5 to 6 people.
Okay.
Just standing around watching shit.
And what was the name of that first movie?
It's called Buns of Steel. Yeah, it was in a gym. We were all working out. So you see me on the cover,
right? But
you don't see me in the movie because I couldn't perform. I just couldn't. I couldn't do it.
Did you get paid?
I think I got
a portion of it.
Yeah, I got something.
Okay, you got something.
I got something.
So the first time out, it didn't go so well.
Nah. So then it swings me back around to Ron, and Ron now is like, "Yo, come through. I got somebody for you." And
so they called you back, even though the first one,
because Heather was separate from Ron.
Okay.
Ron was doing his own thing.
Right.
And Heather was doing her own thing.
Right.
And so when it went, but Heather kind of knew things happened and she wasn't tripping. So she was like, it's cool, shit happens. Don't worry about it.
Right.
And then Ron, he didn't know anything about that. He was calling me for, like I said, he was doing this series called Dark Alleys. He needed guys for that because he kept getting new talent.
Right.
So he called me for that. And it worked out that the time that he called me up was right after everything went real bad with that. So I was like, I had a choice to make. Do I try again?
Right.
Or do I give up?
He was like, fuck this truck driving shit.
Yeah, I was cool and all of that. I was just like, I said, I got to give this shit a shot.
I can fuck for a living?
Right. And at the time, to be real with you, it's not nothing what it's like now. Back then, you're not thinking nobody's ever going to see it.
Right.
Because it's in magazines. You know what I mean? You're not, there's no, you're like, who's watching porn openly?
Right.
And telling their friends that they're watching? Nobody. So the second time, Ron's like, yo, come through. He's in Hollywood.
Right.
He has an apartment in Hollywood. So I'm like, all right, I went out to Palm Springs to shoot that. Failed miserably with Heather. So I lived in Pomona at the time. So I was driving from Palm Springs back to Pomona, like wondering, should I do what did I do? Damn, I fucked up, man. Can't even get my dick hard.
Right.
Hell, I'm 23. I can't fuck. Will I ever be able to fuck again? That's a real.
No, that's real shit right there.
Yeah, that's an essential question. Now you're 23 years old. You're like, can I?
Yeah.
So when Ron called, I was like, there's light. There's a little bit of light in the tunnel. I was like, all right. And so thankfully it worked because Ron was so cool. He's so laid back. I get over to his crib. He's got a small ass apartment. I get there and shit. And he's a little cramped, and he's like, all right, the girl's gonna be here, any minute. And this cute little girl, her name is Eva Flowers, short brunette, like pixie cut.
Okay.
This is pre-tattoo era. Nobody's getting tattoos in the early 90s. Maybe a few basketball players, that's it. But nobody's getting tattoos. But no tats, comes in, and I just was like, love. and then the crazy thing, she walks in with her boyfriend, and her boyfriend, he sits down her little, we call them suitcase pimps. He sits down her little suitcase, gives her a little kiss on the cheek, and says, "Okay, honey, I'll be back in a few hours to pick you up." And I'm like,
at least he didn't stay for this shit. That's wild. Like, I'm not staying.
I'll be back.
I'd be damned if I'm dropping your ass off. You gotta take an Uber or some shit.
I dated a stripper for a while in Florida, and when I dropped that bitch off at the strip club, that was the end of it.
Listen.
When I had to drop her off at work, I was like, it's crazy. It's wild. So kissing her on the cheek like, good luck sucking dick today, baby. It's crazy.
Basically that's what he was, But I didn't give a fuck. As soon as that door closed, I was like, she's all mine.
Yeah. Damn, suitcase pimps, that's how it goes.
and so that was the...
Yeah, so that was it. I mean, with her, man, it was so natural and so easy going, and it flowed, and Ron was like, cool, you available next week? I was like, yeah.
How much you get paid for your first gig?
Yeah.
I probably got $75. You got to remember, this is 1994. $75?
How long did it take you?
It took me less than an hour. So I was
killing it. $75 an hour.
Yeah, $75 an hour. Hey, man.
That's not bad now. In the 90s, he's killing it.
And you get your dick sucked too,
I wasn't mad at that.
Minimum wage had to be like $5.65 back in the 90s.
No, yeah, for sure.
Right.
Damn. And you weren't getting your dick sucked at work.
So now you did the video. Mm-hmm. Successful turnout, you killed it, all that other good shit. When did people start finding out, oh shit? Wait. First, how'd you get the nickname Mr. Marcus?
Well, I mean, I used to get into a lot of trouble when I was younger. And I used to get pulled over all the time, like suspended license, warrants. So I had to get an alias. Because I wouldn't stop driving, and I wouldn't, but I would not get. They were always, back in that day, driving while black was a big thing,
right?
You know what I mean? So I was always getting pulled over. So I figured this was the workaround. So I had an alias. When I got into the industry, the alias was Marcus.
Okay.
So when I got on set, first I came out with Marcus Love,
right? Because
I thought he was all about the love. I was a loving type of dude. And then I don't know what else. I was leaving the set, and I just said, I was thinking, Mister, what was go with Marcus? Mr. Stuck. I don't know what it was. Mr. Marcus just stuck. I remember I wasn't too far from here actually. I was on the other side of I was leaving, I think Glendale. No.
Okay.
I think I was leaving Glendale. I was up in the hills. I remember just leaving, and they were like, "What do you want us to call you?" I was like, Mr. Marcus.
Now, when did the hat show up? Was the hat there day one?
Nah. There's some videos of me with the hair.
Okay.
Yeah. I had a little Jerry curl fade going on.
Okay.
A Jerry curl fade?
Yeah, it was Jerry curl. Wow. I was like, no, I think I was ahead of the curve with that too. Only other person I saw who had something similar was Special Ed.
Okay.
Special had a little curly top with fade, so I had like a Jerry curl. It just wasn't growing. I wanted the Ready for the World thing. I wanted, you know what I mean? I wanted Jesse Johnson. I wanted that shit, but it just wouldn't grow. You know, I was trying hard. So we just had the idea to cut it. So when I cut it, that was one step. But then I was dating a girl who hated getting the gel all over her pillowcase.
Right.
She hated that shit.
Soul glow.
She hated it. I mean, and then, you know, after a while, it'd be all nasty. And so I just shaved it off. And when I shaved it, I really didn't like my head. I was like, so I would throw hats on.
So it seemed like every time I see you now, you always got an LA hat. Was it LA hat throughout the whole entire time?
Nah.
Or it was just a hat, period?
It was just a hat. The first hats were, I think they were Kangos. Kangos had a knitted hat that fit real cool. So that was that. And then I had Nike hats for a little while. And then the producers would be kind of like, you can't wear that.
Right.
And they would put
You ever get a hat sponsorship?
Right. I mean, they've tried to give me a few, but they never cut the hats the way I like. So I like 3930s, and this is a 3930s fitted. Fits kind of low pro the way I like. It's hard to find when it fits the way I like. You know, it's like people with shoes.
Right.
And these
New
things
era wasn't coming in.
Nah, they weren't that. Nah, they weren't. They didn't. I didn't start fucking with the new eras until around 2000. I don't know, 10, 8, something like that.
Okay. So then, when was the first time someone was like, "That's Mr. Marcus"? And how was that?
The first time, honestly, the first time I realized I was known, I was in Amsterdam.
Okay.
And I was wrapping up a movie there. And we had spent the whole week. We went to Germany, Sweden, and Amsterdam. So I was like, I love this shit. You know, I was loving it. And I was going into the hotel, and I just spent the whole day out chilling with my boy. We were smoking weed, flirting with the girls, hitting the red light district. And I'm walking up, and these two brothers, they were walking in, and they were like, and just real casual. What's up, Mr. Marcus? It was just so casual and so laid back. And I was just like, here I was in Amsterdam. It was just like, they said it's so cool that I felt cool. I felt real cool. And I was just like, damn, that was for me, that was kind of like, okay, you know, connect the dots. And I was like, okay. So it's been cool like that ever since.
You ever see people who are like, don't say shit, but you can tell they know who you are? And it's like real weird in public because they don't want to be like, oh, I know Mr. Marcus, because then they know where they know you from.
Right. Nah, I mean, a lot of people, over the years, I've met all kind of, some people real cool with it. Some people are like, you know, some people are kind of hesitant to acknowledge, and some people are like, oh shit, you know, and they'll just spill it right on the, damn, nigga, I used to jack off your shit. Like, whoa, TMI, bro.
I only pop into those things.
Now, what about when your family finds out? Or did you told them day one, this is what I'm gonna do, this is who I am? Or they was like, someone told like your parents, like,
yeah.
Real quick, before you get into that.
I think I saw him in the movie.
On the same topic that we was just talking about, you ever had a girl like be like, oh, Mr. Marcus, and her boyfriend like, what the fuck?
Mm-hmm.
How the fuck do you know who that is? I have one of those situations.
It's, you know, it's like, I always feel, I don't know how to feel sometimes because I don't know what they got going on. Some people are real cool, like, hey, honey, this is... You know,
check it out.
Do you get a lot of propositions like, hey, man, I'm a big fan. Can you fuck my wife? Yeah.
God damn.
He's like,
that shit is wild to me.
Yeah. I mean,
now you see movies. You always see movies where something like that is happening. So you're saying in real life that shit happens all the time?
Yeah, I mean, probably since the beginning of time, I think we've, you know, in terms of like,
I never felt that way.
Is it like, is it like, you know how Rihanna does those private parties for crazy? You ever do like private Mr. Marcus parties for like somebody's birthday or some shit? Like, my wife's birthday today.
Nah. I mean, I've shown up at some things. It's funny you say that. I've been around this lifestyle for a long time because I'm coming from the industry, but just because we attract a lot of people from the lifestyle. So, you know, if I went to a swinger party, I usually would go solo. You know what I mean? Just to just to hopefully come across a woman who is. But sometimes she's in a relationship or she's with somebody. But if he gave the green light, it'd be cool. You know what I mean? So we would do whatever we wanted to do.
Right.
But I also knew that I need to bring something to get something.
Right.
You can't show up there empty-handed. And
we just talked about this on one podcast where there was a quote that some guy said. He's like, I pick up a hooker and then I dress her real nice and I take her to a swinger party and I fuck somebody's wife while he's fucking a hooker.
That shit is
I never thought about that.
I'm like, that is ruthless. So, anyways, if you got anything going on in the future, you could just do that. You're looking to take a date with you.
Note to self, bro.
So when your family started figuring out who you were, how did that go? Like the first conversation you probably had with your mom had to be a little weird because I know you're real close to your mom.
Yeah, nah, I love my mom. But my mom was funny because the way she found out was from coworkers.
Yeah, see, that's what I figured.
Yeah, and I would pop in there and come see my mom. She worked for the government, so I would come in there every once in a while and hang out at her office, whatever. And so one day, she just told me. She said, "Yeah, the coworkers, they said, we saw your son in a movie." And I was like, but my mom, her response was, "I didn't think about you. I thought about them." Like that told me more about them.
Yeah, that's what yeah.
So I was like, and so that was the cool way that she
and that was it. She just kept it moving after that.
I mean, people have hit her up over the years and said all kind of things. And I've had my share ups and downs in the industry, and she's probably, been on the sideline kind of shaking her head, but she's given me shit minimally.
Right.